Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the draw for the Gibraltar Open. The entry registration process has now come to an end and we'll be shortly making the draw, which is completely random, for this event. And what I'm going to do just before I go into the draw is just to go over the basics of the tournament. And 9 players have entered. And this Gibraltar Open short code is GIOP. And it runs from today, Wednesday, the 13th of March. It's the 15th ranking event of the OSC 2018-19 season. The current champion is Jamie Anderson, who will be looking to defend his title. Single elimination event, so it's just a straight knockout event. The first round, round 1, that will be between 2 players, and that will be first to 4. In fact, all matches in this tournament are first to 4. Quarterfinal, semi-final, third place playoff, and the final will all be first to 4. Prize money, the winner is 25,000, one of the lower of the prize money amounts in the season, but could be useful for a player that is in need of getting into the top 8 of the Players' Championship, or improving their average scoring to get into the Players' Championship, or to improve their 2018-19 season total amount to get into the Tour Championship. The Players' Championship and the Tour Championship are for the top 8 players with highest amount of prize money and average prize money, respectively. Rules are very similar. The game is played on Facebook, and any date shown in the site on tournament are deadline dates unless it's been agreed in advance by both players. And players can report their results on the Facebook results and fixtures chat, and tournament report their match on tournament. And obviously the general rules about having genuine identity, that's not going to be a problem. All players that have entered are regulars. The basic match rules: no keeping opponents waiting for the match to start. Just have a bit of respect in that sense. If you both agreed to play, and please try and keep everyone up to date. Enter the scores in tournament and Facebook. Keeping good communication with the opponent during the match, should there be any issues. If a frame is drawn on points, then you just replay the frame again. That is the current rule, or that's something I don't particularly agree with. That was voted for in a referendum, and the less said about that, the better. Now, during the match, if you're in a snooker and you can't see the object ball, then you must nominate a colour in the table chat to your opponent, make it clear what ball you're going for. If you do not nominate a colour and you take your shot, then no matter what happens, then you need to give a foul, and a foul is a nudge, just a nudge 0% on the white ball, and then give the table back to your opponent, who can decide to either continue or pass it back to you. So if you're in a situation where you and the opponent have agreed that one of you needs to give points back, then again, that's done by nudging the white ball 0%. If you do make a foul during the match, if you can type in F into the table chat, this has two objectives. This tells the opponent that you've made a foul. Sometimes an opponent may, just be looking away from the screen. He's not focused on the match at that particular time, and it would just, when they come back, it will just give them a very quick, easy status about the match, and there's no confusion. But it also can help with any freezing that may have happened if someone's got a slow internet connection. Then when a foul has been made and the app confirms that there's a foul has been made, then if an F can be put into the table chat after that, it just resets your interaction with the app, and it reduces the possibility of it freezing. Now, freezing obviously is one of the major issues we have. It doesn't happen that often, but it can happen. If it does happen, it can be a major issue and cause a lot of chaos. If the table freezes during any part of the frame, the guidelines are just wait a moment, just try and understand what is happening, see if it might just come back on. Sometimes if a player has got a very slow connection, it can come back. But if you're agreed that it doesn't look like play is gonna continue, then just and the way to do that is just try and communicate on Facebook. Just confirm that it's froze. Send a picture if you can, capture the screen just to show. And if you can't continue, then you'll have to restart the frame. And the guidelines to do that is you will take the difference in frame points and the number of reds left on the table to a new frame. So when you set up the new frame, you choose whichever's closest to how many reds were on the table. And in the freeze frame. So if there were no reds on the table, then the guideline is to choose the colours set up. But obviously, you need to be of the understanding, and you need to be agreed with the opponent regarding what to do in the colours setup. There is a guideline for that. Is the first shot of each player when you're on colours is a foul, and then a safety shot. And basically, you just need to agree once both players are happy that no one has an advantage of potting the yellow or the first ball, that the white is in a safe position on the table, points are equal or points have been given, and then you both agree in the table chat that you can start in normal play, and then that can go. Alternatively, you can just go to 6 ball, or alternative, you can go to any setup, really. It's entirely up to both players. As long as they agree how to deal with any issue, then if they agree, then that's fine. And it's wise, it will be wise to confirm in Facebook, in the results and fixtures chat, what you've agreed to. If you agreed to something and then someone disagrees afterwards or whatever, there's an argument or disagreement after that, then OSC cannot deal with that if you didn't agree anything or you've not confirmed anything. You can't really just take people's word for what they said happened and one disagrees, etc. So it's always wise, if needed, just to confirm what both players have done in the Facebook chat. And the guidelines are: if it's 1 to 6 reds on the table, choose 6 ball. If there's 7 to 10 reds, choose 10 ball. If there's 11 to 15 reds on the table when it throws, then restart on 15 ball. When you've chosen the correct setup, like I say, give the amount of points to the difference in points to your opponent, and the difference in points to the nearest multiple of 4 down. So you nudge the white to make up to that score. So, for example, if it's 39 points difference in the freeze frame, then you give 36 points. And if it was 22, for example, you give 20, etc. And if you need to come away from the table for a moment, you need a toilet break or whatever, you need to leave the table, then just obviously just make sure your opponent knows and agrees, of course. So that's tournament, the setup, as you can see here, round 1. The deadline for round 1 is the 16th, which what's today? Today's what, 13th, so it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so Saturday. So round 1 matches need to be played by the end of Saturday. The quarter final on the 19th, that's the deadline, and then the semi-final the 23rd, and the final and third place playoff, on the 26th. The participants who've entered this tournament, the Gibraltar Open: Alan Lockett, Jamie Anderson, current champion, Ken Hopper, Mike Mora, Mohammed Fazi, Mushtaq Hamid, Papadakis Mixal, Raphael Hagen, and Wim de Routers. They're the 9 players. So we're now going to go over to the draw. And they're the players there. And what's going to happen is I'm going to make the first draw and the player, and they will go into the number 1 seed. Now, obviously, Jamie Anderson is the current defending champion, so he will go to number 1 seed, meaning that he will get a bye. He will definitely get a bye. He just has that slight privilege. When a random draw, seeding doesn't really come into account, but he should get that privilege. And so that's done for that one. So now, without any further ado, we're going to make the draw for the Gibraltar Open. And I'm going to make the first spin. All the players are on the right. And let's make the draw for the 2018-19 Gibraltar Open. So let's spin the wheel. Jamie Anderson has already been chosen. Jamie Anderson is actually in this wheel, so if he comes up, then we'll just ignore that. He's been put into seed number 1. So whoever comes up will be seed 2, then seed 3, then seed 4, then seed 5, right down until there's no players left. And you can see on the right of the seeding under single elimination how the draw will make. Papadus Mixel is the first player chosen, and he will be seed 2 here, and he will be in the bottom half of the draw. Let's make the second draw, the next one. Don't forget Jamie Anderson. If he comes up, then we'll just re-spin the wheel. He's already been chosen into seed 1. So Mushtaq Hamid is seed number 3. Excuse me. Mushtaq Hamid is seed number 3. And he goes into the bottom half of the draw as well. So let's make the draw for the 4th seed. Most players won't actually have a match in round 1, but we'll go straight into the quarterfinal. Because obviously being only 9 players, 2 players will need to fight it out. So we'll basically start the main matches. Most matches will start in the quarterfinal, of course. So Alan Lockett is seed number 4. So the 4 times champion goes into seed number 4 there, and he goes into the top half of the draw in the 3rd match. Let's spin the wheel for seed number 5. Not many tournaments left to go. Six tournaments. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Apart from the Welsh Open that started, or that is basically just about to finish, as Mike Mora is drawn for seed number 5. He goes into there. So we have the Welsh Open. The Indian Open has just started. The Gibraltar Open starting today. Then we have the Players' Championship, the Tour Championship. And then we have the Snooker Shootout. And then the China Open and the World Championship. That's 8 tournaments left to go. So Mike Mora's been chosen there. Let's make the draw for seed number 6. Mike Mora's gone into the top half of the draw. Will face Alan Lockett should he get through his match. If he has a match, he probably might have a bye. And don't forget, Jamie Anderson will not be used. He's already been put into number 1 position, being the defending champion, and that's his privilege. Ken Hopper will go into seed number 6. There we go. So Ken goes to right at the bottom. Match 8 in round 1. And as we get closer to the end of this, let's make the draw for seed 7. Who will it be? Rafael Hagen, Wim de Ruiters, or Mohamed Fawzi? It looks like it's going to be the Belgian, Wim de Ruiters, who's been away for a few months, hasn't played this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's been absent, and this is his first tournament back in 2019. And he goes into seed 7, so we have 2 more spots to go. Wim goes into the bottom half of the draw. Let's make this the draw for seed 8. If Jamie Anderson comes up, that we'll just re-spin the wheel. And Mohamed Fawzi is seed 8. So that will mean Rafael Hagen is the remaining player, and he will go into seed 9. Jamie Anderson's already been chosen, so Rafael Hagen will go into seed 9. And then what's going to happen now is we're just going to fill the rest of the players and go back to placement. JMA there, that was obviously, as I said before, my explanations. And now we'll just fill in the rest of the buys, the spaces, and there we go. So that's the draw made. So let's just have a look at that in a bit more detail. There we go. So Jamie Anderson will get a buy. And let's just confirm that. He gets Mohamed Fawzi will play Rafael Hagen, and those 2 players have played each other quite a lot in the last few weeks, last few tournaments. They've been drawn together in the Indian Open, and they've been drawn together in the Gibraltar Open in a random draw. So that's either good or bad for those players. At least they'll get to know each other's game. Tough one for Rafa. Obviously, Mohamed Fawzi, one of the stars of this season. Alan Lockett gets a bye. Mike Mora gets a bye, which means Alan Lockett will play Mike Mora in the quarterfinal. Papadakis gets a bye. Wim de Ruiters gets a bye. Mushtaq gets a bye. And Ken gets a bye. Ken Hopper gets a bye. Meaning, so we have the basic quarterfinal lineup. There's just Mohamed Fawzi and Rafael Hagen to play their first of 4 match, and the winner of that will play Jamie Anderson, and Alan Lockett will play Mike Mora in that quarterfinal, at the first half to get to the semi. Then Papadakis will play Wim, and Mushtaq will play Ken, and the winner of those 2 matches will play in the semi-final, obviously. So that's the end of the draw. Thank you for watching. Just keep an eye on the site and report your matches when they're done. Please keep in contact with your opponent, and please reach out to them now or as soon as you've seen this, and just get an idea of when the best time is to play. The official playing days for the Gibraltar Open are Wednesdays and Sundays. The Indian Open are Tuesdays and Saturdays. So basically that just takes precedent. So if it's Wednesday, the Gibraltar Open should take precedent, really. And but the matches can be played anytime, of course. But if if the day is a Tuesday or a Saturday, then if a player has a match in the Indian Open, then that should be played first, that should take priority. But as long as players work it out between them, that's great, and I appreciate if players can play their matches as soon as they can within their own schedules and their own preparations, as long as it's before the deadlines which are shown on the site here. Any questions, just give OSC a shout, but thank you for watching, and that's the end of this stream. Good luck to all players, and we'll see you next time.